And hello everyone, it is Peter Sam, the Narrow Gauge Engine here, back with another video. Today we're doing tier lists, because I can't be arsed. Today I am going to be putting all of the take and play and take along models that I own into a tier list. I'm not doing the ones I don't own, because I don't have attachments to them, and I feel like it'd be sort of a bit pointless really. I'd just be doing it on design really, so I feel like that's not enough, especially when compared to the ones that I do own. So we're just going to be ranking the ones I own. I've probably missed a few off here that I can't remember that I own, so oopsie, I might make a part 2 where I do that. Also, I'm only doing the engines, none of the rolling stock vehicles, none of that shit. So let me just run through the tiers really quickly. We have at the top here endless playability, which is basically it's the best of the best. It's the S tier one, you know. Fun and fancy free is the next tier, which means that, you know, it's pretty good. But it has maybe a few flaws in there. These will be the sort of ones that are like, I have a lot of nostalgia and connection towards, but there's some fundamental flaws in the way it's been, like, made. Middle of the track is one that's just sort of there and exists. One that I had a bit of an attachment to, but not too much. You know, the mid-tier, that shit. Kinda bad, not gonna lie, is the kinda bad, not gonna lie tier. Didn't really have an attachment to it, and I can see a few flaws in the design. Mike tier is specifically reserved for Take Along Mike, who is awful. It doesn't, especially when compared to the later Rex, Mike and Bert, this one Mike that Take Along did was it was pretty bad. It was just proportionally just fucked. Other engines can end up in the Mike tier though, so don't get that twisted. There's still room for other engines in the Mike tier. And then last but not least, we have negative Mike tier. Just shit that's worse than Mike, basically. That's pretty much what it is. Let's just get down to it. I'm ready, I'm raring to go. I don't have a lot of time on my hands. First up, we got Take Along Thomas here. Hold down on the, there we go. We got Take Along Thomas. And honestly, he kinda bangs, you know. He looks cute. It's perfectly, like, it's a toy, but it also really does look like the character. I am honestly very happy with putting that in Fun and Fancy free. It's not endless playability because my attachment to it isn't really that strong, if I'm honest, because I had 20 of them. So it was kind of hard to just sort of form an attachment to one. It really helps your chances if there's just one of you, because then you're unique and you're not like every other fucking one I own. So you're going in Fun and Fancy free. Edward is, honestly, design-wise, perfect. Attachment-wise, eh. Like, he wasn't one that was like, really wanted to play with all the time. So I'll put it in Fun and Fancy free as well, just based on that really. Henry, again, another one that fucking bangs, man. He looks so fucking cool. I think they did an amazing job with him. Sorry if you can't see like the full engine. My screenshots were sometimes kind of like stretched out because the trains are so long. But yeah, absolutely amazing work put into this, but again, not one that I really had that much of an attachment to. I got this model later on in my sort of childhood because my cousins decided they didn't want their shit anymore. I was like, you know what, I'll have it. Again, another one going in Fun and Fancy free. I swear to God, if this video is just one's going in Fun and Fancy free, I'm going to riot. James, now James, I feel like they could have done better with the design, and I feel like he does look a bit strange, but also I feel for it because James is actually kind of a hard one to sort of get right, I find. In a lot of toys and, you know, merch, they don't really often get James right, and I understand why. It's kind of a weird thing, a weird balance to try and perfect. And I just think he comes out looking a little bit too fat around the boiler. So I'm going to put him in middle of the track. I do have an attachment with this one, but I just think design-wise he's a bit lacking. Toby over here. Toby, I'm not sure what to do with Toby, because, like, he's not one I had much of an attachment to, but I don't really want to put him in Fun and Fancy free, but I do think the design is amazing. I might just put him in Fun and Fancy free. I've not got much to say, but the holes in the cab are actually holes. Like, you can see through the other side, and I think that adds a layer of coolness to it. Duck, that's a tricky one. Because Duck, I never really went for him, so I don't have that attachment. But he is a good model. So I'll put him in... Yeah, I'll put him in middle of the track. He's kind of heavy, actually. That's the one thing I remember about him. Another thing I remember is that I put like a pirate hat sticker on top of his cab. Don't know why I did that. I think I peeled it off, so he's fine now. Like, some of these are like so heavy, and then some of the ones that you think would be heavy are actually really light. Like, Henry is like super light, as are Donald and Douglas. Now I'm going to put them in the same tier. I'm putting them also in middle of the track. I never really went for these, to be honest, but the designs are alright, so I'm not going to bash them. Is that Emily there? Yeah, Emily. Interesting. I really did like Emily's one because she had the giant wheel, and I feel like that is such a cool aspect of the design. You know what? Yeah, I did go for Emily a lot. She's the first one I'm going to put in endless playability. The design's great. She does look a bit weird, like a little bit, but I think the attachment overall, I think that's what keeps her from sort of dipping down into the other ones. Oh, Stepney. Oh, Stepney, bless your heart. He didn't really get a good one, did he? He is I think it's the shade of yellow, to be honest. It's just not appealing. But that is the shade of sort of yellow that he is in the show, kind of. I don't know. I can't remember, really. It does look a bit shit. And also, I don't know if you can see this because the image is very small, but like the bunker's so fucking like non-existent. It's mental. I'm going to put him in kind of bad, not going to lie. I never really had an attachment. Oh yeah, that's another thing. He was shit to push about. You know how like they're supposed to roll? Because they have actual fucking wheels? He never did that. He was really bad. Bearing in mind that was probably my fault. I probably left him outside accidentally once, and then the rain fucked him up. But whatever. Bill and Ben, two more iconic ones. Their designs, not the best, but I did have a lot of attachment for them, so I feel like that has great importance. Yeah, sure. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that's all I have on these guys. They were great fun. They're a bit slow and a bit heavy, and I think the design could have been a bit better because they're kind of big, aren't they? They're a bit too big. But overall, I loved them. They were amazing. Lady is just going straight into endless playability. She was such a cool design. She was one of the first models that I owned. I have a lot of an attachment for this character. And as someone that had this model and never watched Thomas and the Magic Railroad, I feel like there's something to be said about that. I don't know. There's something to be said there. Oh, God. Anyway, Harvey, another one that's going straight in endless playability. He may not be the best at, like, you know, having a smooth roll, but that fucking crane, endless playability. Endless. He is the epitome of that tier, I think. I'm not going to rank them in the tiers, because I might do that at the end. But then again, there's going to be loads on here. There's 57 of these fuckers left and we're 10 minutes in. So, yeah, endless playability with that fucker. You could pick up the trucks and all sorts. And the take and play one, because these are the take along ones first. Wait, or whether no, this is the take along one. The take and play one had the actual hook, and I feel like that's less effective because there's no like couplings. Like if this was take and play adventures and you know the shit with the actual couplings, then I'd forgive it. But like you know this is magnets, so throws that sort of stupid hook completely out the window. The adaptation into an actual magnet is far superior in my opinion because you can actually pick shit up. Bearing in mind he doesn't do it very well, but it's cool nonetheless, I think. Oh, Fergus, bless your heart, man. He did not have a good run of things. I think, was there ever a point where I could make him do shit? I don't think there was. I think he was always fucked. Yeah, I'm putting him in Mike tier. He just didn't want to roll. He didn't move, and I don't know why. I think did I buy him like that, or was he bought off my cousins? Because that sort of changes it. Either way, when I got him, he didn't move. And that is so upsetting as a Fergus fan. Also, he is way too built. He is way too built. Fergus is supposed to be tiny, and there, he looks like the same size as Gordon. It is mental. Fergus, he got a bad fucking go. I don't think that the wheels are particularly appealing. I just think they fucked up on every level, but I don't think he's worse than Mike, and that's the only thing that's stopping me. Also, I love the character, and if I put him in the bottom tier, I feel like that's just a betrayal to myself, really. Murdoch. Now, this was one I bought, and this was one where the wheel didn't want to move. He was stuck like that. One of the wheels, one of the driving wheels, only on the one side as well, just stuck, and it stopped moving, and it just turned me away from playing with him for that reason, because he didn't want to work. He was like Fergus, but I think the thing that saves him is design-wise, he is a fucking amazing. The colour of orange could be a bit brighter, but apart from that, like, in terms of design, strong one. His wheel fucked, and I couldn't play with him. I just had no attachment. I actually had resentment. Spencer, because when I was a kid, I didn't have Gordon for some reason. I don't know why. I think some kid stole some of my trains, and they stole Thomas. No, they stole Henry, Gordon, and Percy for some reason. I didn't get those again until way later. So for the time being, in those like fucking 7 years in which I didn't have Gordon, Spencer was my Gordon stand-in, and I enjoyed many hours of playing with that fucker. It was great. Also brought up on Here Are the Rails, so I had I was replaying that fucking Thomas and Spencer fucking thing at the start, where they're racing around. Oh, the memories, man. This is just my nostalgia video. Molly's next. Now, we know my good friend, Thrash the Iver Engine, would gut me like a fish if I said anything bad, but I don't have anything bad to say, really. Fuck it, I'll put it in Fun and Fancy Free. It's just a good design, good character. I had a lot of attachment to the Molly character. The Take and Play one only has her with 2 wheels on the tender, which is very interesting, like per side. So 4 wheels, yeah, 4-wheel tender. Odd, so odd. Rosie is next. Again, another one I don't really have much to say on. She was just kind of there, and I used her when I wanted to, and it was all good, and I'll just put her in the middle of the track, because I don't really have anything bad to say about Rosie's design. Again, her fucking the bunker at the back. I'm all over the place today, I'm sorry guys. Her bunker at the back could do with like a little bit of widening, I think, but apart from that, she is like the perfect size, man. Like, she's perfect for like a little 5-year-old to hold, and it's elite. Whiff. Now I feel like they got like Whiff down, like nailed, and I love the way they did the wheels. Honestly, in all aspects of design, amazing. I didn't really want to play with him that much though, but I'll still put him in Fun and Fancy Free, because he was still one of the, like, even as a kid I was like, that he's cool. He's just shit to play with, because again, he doesn't really roll very well on the track. Some of them you have to really like push, and some of them you can just glide along with your hand, and it makes the world of difference, honestly. For Take and Play people, I think they'll get it, but for anyone else, you wouldn't necessarily think it, but like the way that the wheels work and how much sort of push they need, it makes the world of difference. Sometimes you can glide along, sometimes it's a bit more force, and that changes everything, honestly. Now Billy was always deterred. I was always sort of deterred from him because of his shit teeth. Yeah, that's it really, that's all I have to say. I don't think I ever watched Don't Be Silly Billy as a kid, so I didn't really know who this was. So I didn't really have the already negative opinion on him. He rolled okay, and his design's decent, so I'll put him in middle of the track. Decent design for a shit character. Now, we're onto the Diesels now. So Diesel, honestly, I had the talking one, I think, where you press down on there's like a button on his cab and he says a line, but it broke. And I never just replaced it, or I never replaced the batteries, because it was like I didn't care. Diesel, it's a simple design, and I had a lot of attachment to him. I'll put him in Fun and Fancy Free, why not? I feel like I owe him that much. Oh, fucking Daisy. Jesus Christ. Okay, Daisy, she has the tiny wheels, and for anyone that, like, isn't aware, the tiny wheels always suck when you get them, but it's just them. Like, they're like the smallest things, but you need like big wheels with them so that they roll better. But like Daisy was so shit because she didn't roll properly because she only had tiny wheels. It was awful, honestly. I'm put her in kind of bad, not gonna lie, because the design was decent, but fuck me, was the rolling, was just using her in general for anything just such a fucking pain. Like, I cannot stress enough how shit you have to be. Same story with the next cunt we got going on here, Dean199 or whatever his name is. Honestly, I used him a bit more, but like the tiny wheels, man, the tiny wheels, they fuck up everything. Again, another tiny wheel one here. We got Diesel 10, but I'm gonna put him in middle of the track because he had the claw, and you could move that fucking thing, and it was sick. But the tiny wheeled diesels, they were awful to use. All of them, every single one. It wasn't just, like, I don't think it was just me either. I think this is a thing, because there's no way that I got 3 completely different diesels with the same thing, with the same sort of, like, problem with the moving. It's just a shit, like, thing to have all of them with the really small wheels. It was irritating. It was awful to play with them. Don't recommend getting them, to be honest. If I'm like, maybe Diesel 10 because he has the claw, but apart from that, just Daisy and that twat, just bin them. Don't need them. Next, oh fuck, I've moved my iPad there. Next up we got Salty. I'm just going to put him in middle of the track. He was kind of difficult to move. He wasn't the fastest of the bunch. He wasn't the most, like, light-wheeled. I guess that's the phrase now. But he is decently designed. I don't really have a lot to say on some of these. Some of them just exist for me, and that's enough. Dennis the fucking Menace. I think he's just, like, middle of the track. And so are Ari and Bert, who I have here next. They're just sort of there. And they're cool, but they're not anything mind-blowing. I think it doesn't help that they're pretty similar to Diesel as well. I'll give Dennis, like, a bit more leeway, and I think he would end up on the, like, higher end. He has more of a design, but still, I don't think he's fun and fancy-free by any stretch of the imagination. Now we're on to the narrow gauge engines. We have Scarloey here. He looks kind of dumb. His face is kind of dumb. A few of them have these, but, like, I don't think I could see them because most of them are hiding. Yeah, he's got a dumb face, especially with mine. His face is so fucking stupid. But I love the colour. I think, proportionally, are they the same size? I think they're, like, a bit smaller than the standard gauge engines, but, like, only by a little bit. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. I'll just put him in middle of the track. Rheneas, though, he was kind of cool. Again, another one that I got from my cousins. I'll put him in fun and fancy free. I feel like that's a good place. He does have the tiny wheels, but I think the colour is beautiful, and I think that just makes up for everything else. Like, that colour of red is so fucking cool, and just, he looks so adorable. So I'll make an exception there. There's an exception for every rule, and sure, Rheneas is that exception. So Handel's next. I'll do these two together. So Handel and Peter Sam, they do have small problems. Peter Sam's face, way too fucking big. Actually, I have his take and play model in my room. He's the only one I kept sort of in my room. The rest is all, like, away somewhere. But Sir Handel, they were both just really fun. I think the problem is that they are very similar, just as models, so it's kind of hard to sort of rate them differently. I think the things that are most unique are that, you know, there's a different kind of smoke box, and different colour, and a different funnel for Peter Sam, and that, I think, like, there's so much more that you can see that's similar. So yeah, I'll just say they're both fun and fancy free. They're both fun to play with. Leave it at that. Oh fuck, here we go. Rusty. Rusty, he has this tiny wheel problem. Let's address that first and foremost. But for mine, it was the back magnet that just didn't work, ever. So I couldn't pull anything with him. He basically just sat there unused, and well, they're all sitting there unused now pretty much, but Rusty always was sitting there looking unused. He was just there. I don't know if that was, like, an actual thing, like, did everyone's back magnet for that particular Rusty not work, or I don't know, I'm so confused. But yeah, he was not fun to play with. Between the tiny wheels and the magnet not working, it was awful. Duke, oh god. The design's great, but the tiny wheel, man. The tiny wheel's fucking everything up. I'll put him in middle of the track. yeah, I don't have a lot to say on him. He's cool. Tiny Wheels is obviously a problem, but we live and we learn. Again, Mighty Mac, same thing. Again, really cool design, but Tiny Wheel is a problem, and it's an epidemic, and we need to stop it. Stop Tiny Wheel, people. Here we have Fearless Freddy. Again, another one that I don't really have an attachment to. I'm gonna put him in middle of the track. Will it continue? Will it let me, like, continue to add more, or will it not do that? Because if it won't, I might like shift around a bit. We'll see. Caldy's fucking sick. All that detail, all that design, it's real. You can feel the bumps. They carved in pipes and shit for him. Like it's a lot of effort that they went to. More effort than most of these, and I salute that. So I'm just gonna put him in Fun and Fancy Free. Yeah, sure. I didn't know who he was. I had like vague memories of reading Mountain Engines, so I sort of knew he was from a book. Here we go. I've seen the next one now. We have to talk about it. Mike. Fuck me. He doesn't even belong in his own tier, does he? I thought more of these were going to be shit by now, and I was going to have to put them in negative Mike tier, but no, I'll just put him in his... I won't even put him in his own tier. I'll put him below his own tier. That's how shit he is. He doesn't look like an Arsdale engine, he looks like a narrow gauge engine, and I think that a lot of the problem is due to that design. I can appreciate that there's no tiny wheel, but when I think there should be tiny wheel on this fucking thing, there should be tiny wheel on this fucking thing. Yeah, gee, I mean, like, you pull up a picture, let me just click on this right now. That is not an Arsdale engine, is it? It's not. It's cute, but it's not an Arsdale engine. He just doesn't look like one, and I think that's the fundamental flaw of this, and that's why it's fucked. The other Arsdale engines that I bought later on are way, way better than that. That just puts it in the fucking mud for me. I had two metallic engines from Take Along, Oliver and Neville. Let's talk about them. Oliver, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, they add a second layer. That's great. Okay, middle of the track for me though. He was a squeaky motherfucker. I remember this well. He was the squeakiest motherfucker on this planet. Every time I tried to use him, he fucking thought we had a mice infestation. But no, it was just Oliver and his squeaky ass wheels. Jesus Christ, I should have put some oil on him. But that squeaking brings him down. He's metallic and he's cool. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. But that squeaking drove me insane. It just turned me off him. I didn't want to use him after that. And fucking Neville, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the thing that pissed me off the most about Neville was the fact that his buffer, the way he was designed, his buffer beam was at like the same level as like almost the bottom of his wheels. Like he had like a small gap there where his wheels were just slightly lower. But because the front was so low, every time I tried to push him along, I'd find myself pushing and scraping the bottom of that buffer beam against the rails. So basically, I was just fucking trying to have an awful time trying to push this fucker along because the buffer beam was too low down. And honestly, for a character that really doesn't have that lower buffer beam in the first place, I'm just confused at why. Everything else is decent, I think, but that fucking memory of just trying to scrape him along, it's a fundamental flaw that puts him in Mike tier. Alright, I think now we have the take and play stuff, and I think there's less of them. Yeah, we have 30 left. 30. We're gonna do this, alright? I'm at 30 minutes. 30 minutes recording. I'm gonna have to edit all this shit later. Fuck me. But let's do it. Let's give it a while. The Take and Play Thomas, the original. It's just the same as the other one, isn't it? Like it's the same. It's just he looks a bit more stupid now. The number one is bigger, and that's about it. Really, it's practically the same thing. It just like the whistles are more proportionate this time. This Thomas can go in middle of the track because he rolled better, but he looks so stupid. His cab was never that small. Proportionally, he's fucked, but the rolling has been the best it's ever been. Gordon. Now, to be fair, I don't think he came out as bad as he could, but I think the wheel thing is annoying. Don't give him 3 wheels. Again, and also, he gets 4 wheels. He gets 4 wheels on his tender, and that's just sort of stupid. So I'm putting him in fucking middle of the track. I don't Yeah, he deserves it. Now, Percy, take and play Percy, bangs. Endless playability with that one. Fucking amazing. Honestly, he's cute, he's perfect sized. And there's not a flaw in there that I can see. Not one, I don't think. He does look a bit like Miller era fucking Percy, but, you know, it was 2010. Give him a rest, you know. Arthur was another sick one. But he was another one that was, like, sort of really low down in terms of buffer beam. Not quite as bad as Neville, though. I want to say that. And his design's great. I'm going to put him in middle of the track. A lot of these are ending up in middle of the track. Stanley, I don't have anything to say. He's fine. Like, he's there. Very much like in the show, throughout everything post his introduction, he was just there. And he's fine. And he's cool. And he's alright. But, like, yeah, that's it. Now, Hank is the next one. He's fucking sick. Like, I think design-wise, he's great. His tender's a bit too small, but, you know, I can forgive that, because the rest of him looks great. I didn't really go for him much, though. I'll put him in Fun and Fancy Free, because I feel like he's pretty cool. That fucking thing on the front, is it a snowplow? It's not a snowplow, is it? It's just some regular kind of plow. The thing on the front. Oh well, who cares? Charlie. You're a shit character, man. But your design's pretty good. I do have to give you that. It is sort of the same as Billy, though. I'll put it in middle of the track, why not? You know, it's fine. He's fine. He's there. Bash Ferdinand. I might do these all together. Actually, no, because Ferdinand is different. Shit characters, but I think they went all out with that design. So I'm gonna put these two in Fun and Fancy Free. Ferdinand has the tiny wheel problem, but I want to address this now. His tiny wheel, he still rolled pretty well for a tiny wheel. It wasn't the best, but it was a vast improvement to like Daisy and Diesel 10. So I'm going to put him in middle of the track. Tiny wheel still shouldn't exist though, and I condemn every fucking person that decided tiny wheel was going to be worth it. Tiny wheel shit. Scruff. Again, he was one that was just sort of there, but I don't see any faults with it, really. I mean, he is one of them that has the stupid giant magnet that's, like, round and shit. You know, there's no square magnet anymore. But apart from that, I think he's pretty fucking solid. Now, Belle's cool as shit. Oh, fuck off. Can you stop opening the image? Belle is cool as shit. Fun and Fancy Free. She isn't quite endless playability, because those water cannons can't move. That is the only problem I have. But everything else, just absolutely amazing. I love everything about that, apart from the fact that water cannons can't move. Steven, where do you go? I'll put you in endless playability, why not? He has a pretty good design, I think. Yes, the tender's attached for no reason, but as I think if it was detached, it'd be worse. Thinking about it, right, if you think about having that tender there, it is just sort of redundant. In a way, like, I think you could easily, you know how sometimes you just disconnect the fucking tender from the engine? I think loads of kids would just start doing that, but purposefully for Steven, because the tender's so redundant, it doesn't need to be there, and I just think having it like this sort of works, and I think you could get away with it, and I think that's fine. So, I don't know. Leave your thoughts about whether Steven should have been had a separate tender or not in the comments below. Fuck. Okay, we're nearly there. Porter, you existed, man, but like you were the most basic ass piece of wood ever. I am tempted, but his design is really good, so I'll put it in middle of the track. You were you. I don't think they even tried. Like, they just painted on the cab instead. Like, well, they did that for most of the Take and Play ones, to be fair, but that one felt like missed potential for me. Timothy, he just sort of, a lot of him is just like plastic bits, but they don't do anything, they're just sort of on there. It just feels very minimal, very dry, very boring. It doesn't feel like a proper Thomas and Friends Take and Play model. Gator, now the design, decent. I wouldn't say it's amazing. Holding that fucker feels so wrong. It feels like weird. But the design is cool. And I think they nailed it. So I'll put him in the middle of the track. Samson, oh boy, Samson, buddy. Oh, Jesus. He was weird. I don't think he should have been made into a toy. He's not, like, toy worthy, almost. Like, he's sort of shit. He was anyway. Like, his character's, like, not the best, but, like, he is just kind of bad. Like, I don't know what I can say to, like, convince you of putting him there, but it just is. I think it's the wheels. The wheels are too close together. I don't know. Whatever. Ryan, yeah, you exist. Like, you're fine. They did a decent job with you. You do look a bit too much like Thomas, but whatever. Raoul? Oh, I said that way too loud. Raoul is actually pretty fucking cool. I like his design. I like how they put it into the model. I don't really know how they could do it another way. I don't think there's any way you can improve it. And I did play with him quite a bit, to be fair, for someone that I didn't know what he was from. Fun and Fancy Free. Why not, Raoul? You go, boy. Mavis, just sort of there when you needed her. She was reliable. The model's decent. I think it could have done with a bit of work. Let's be fair. Come on, she's a bit too fat. But apart from that, honestly, pretty cool. Den. Now, my biggest problem with Den is there was like a raceway course that I had, and I put all of them on there, but he didn't fit because he was too fucking big. His cab was like, if they got rid of his cab, he would have been able to go down. But you know what, as it stands, Fun and Fancy Free, you know. And I think I'll say the same for Dart. I think they're both perfect, but I just didn't really have that attachment to them because they were boring in Day of the Diesels. Pretty much. They were a shit gag. And they made me gag. Philip, again, exists. He does seem a bit like, it does seem a bit lazy. Like, you compare these, like, Philip, I'm not putting him there, but you compare Philip with Dart and you can see that the sort of the differences, right? In quality. So I'm just going to put him in the middle of the road. Ivan, yeah, you existed. You did alright. You do look a bit stupid, to be fair. Hold on, have they not? Oh, fuck. Never mind, you're going in there. Both of you, actually. I didn't realise they didn't colour the buffers anymore. They don't colour the buffers. And Ryan, but Ryan's cool, so we'll let them off. Jesus, okay. Oh, fuck me. Oh, buddy. Oh, Duncan. You fucking... He's so stupid looking. Why is his cab that tiny? This is the point where they stopped caring and they didn't bother to paint anything anymore. Plus he's got tiny wheel. He is the worst, honestly. He is worse than Mike. I should have put him as like the Mike tier and the negative Mike tier, but then again, who else would go in the negative Duncan tier, you know, because he is the shittest. Victor, he has tiny wheel, but you know what, the design is cool, so I'll just put him in the middle of the track. Luke is sort of a similar story, really, but I like his design a bit more. Now I'll put him in the middle of the track still. I think you could have improved that. I don't see any fucking cab windows in the front. Like there's ways to improve it. Finally, I'll put these two together because we're at like 43 minutes. Yeah, the only tiny wheels to go in Fun and Fancy Free, apart from Rheneas, I think. Yeah, because every other one's got big wheels. These two shot fucking the old Mike, the take-along Mike, out of the fucking water. Honestly, they smashed it with them, I think. They're tiny, they work. I appreciate the tiny wheels for once, even though they are pretty shit to run with. But it's pretty perfect. I just don't have that attachment. That's the only problem, because they were my most recent purchases. That's them, and that's the thing done. Great, lovely. I'm gonna go and have a nap now, because I'm seeing how much editing I need to do now, because it's going on for 44 minutes. So I've been Peter Sam, you've been you. Let me know your favourite take and play model or take along model in the comments below. If you want, you can. You don't have to. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you didn't bash me on my opinions too much. I enjoyed doing this. I'll do it again, probably, if you want me to. Apart from that though, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.